I'm about to give you $50 million. Not really, but imagine it. Tomorrow, your banking app. One notification. Not a few $100s, not a few thousand, $50 million. No lottery, no inheritance, no catch, or so it seems. Just one message. You have 1 year. Spend it however you want. You think it's fake, obviously. So you test it. Coffee, approved. A watch you've only seen behind glass, approved. A car that sounds like thunder, approved. A house with the ocean as its backyard, approved. Every purchase clears instantly. And this is where most people's story would end, and they lived happily ever after. But that's not this story. Keep watching, because what happens next is the part nobody warns you about, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it happens to almost everyone who gets rich fast, and almost nobody who gets rich slow. Weeks pass. You don't tell anyone. You don't have to. Money has a smell. People can sniff it out. The apartment becomes a penthouse. The economy seat becomes a private jet. The friend group quietly rewrites itself. Some people admire you now. Some resent you. Some show up out of nowhere, suddenly become your closest friend. You start noticing something strange. The more you spend, the less it feels like spending. The first $10,000 purchase gave you a jolt in your chest. By the 40th, it barely registers. You've upgraded so fast that expensive doesn't mean anything to you anymore. It's just Tuesday. An assistant, a trainer, a private chef, security maybe, because that's just what people like you have, right? You start speaking differently, walking differently. You catch your reflection in a store window and don't quite recognize the posture. Shoulders back, chin up, like the money rewired something in your spine. And somewhere in the middle of all this, you stop performing wealthy. You start believing it. Here's the trap. Here's the exact moment it goes wrong, and you won't even notice it happening. You stop checking prices. You stop asking, is this worth it? There's only one question left in your head. Do I want it? That single sentence is the most expensive one in the English language. It sounds harmless. It even sounds like freedom. Isn't that the whole point of having money? To never have to ask, can I afford this ever again? Except that question wasn't just about affording things. It was the only thing standing between you and every bad decision money can fund. Take it away, and there's no brake left, just acceleration. You don't buy one house, you buy the house, then the second one as an investment, then the third one because a friend swears it's undervalued. You don't buy one car, you buy a collection, because a garage with one car in it suddenly looks empty. Nobody around you says stop. Why would they? The chef doesn't tell you to eat cheaper. The assistant doesn't tell you to fly commercial. The new friends definitely don't tell you to slow down. Your spending is the whole reason they showed up. The only person who could have stopped this version of you was the version of you from a year ago. And he's gone. Then, exactly 365 days later, it happens. The money disappears. Not the things. The things stay. The house, the cars, the watches, all still yours forever. But the balance in your account? Back to normal. Back to exactly where you started. Your salary never changed. Your income never changed. Nothing about your actual life changed. Except now, you're the same person you always were, holding a lifestyle built for someone else entirely. The mansion wants property tax, insurance, a staff just to keep it standing. The supercar wants fuel, repairs, and parts flown in from a factory on the other side of the planet. The watches want servicing, insurance, a safe, maybe a guard. Even the pool needs someone paid to keep it blue. You do the math at 2 a.m. the way people always do the math at 2 a.m., and the number staring back at you isn't your net worth anymore. It's your monthly burn rate, and it's bigger than your old life ever was. And here's the sentence that matters more than anything else in this video. The problem was never buying expensive things. The problem was believing you could afford to keep them. This is exactly what happens to real people in real life. No fantasy required. Professional athletes with contracts worth more money than most people see in 10 lifetimes. Musicians riding a single hit into a lifestyle built to last forever. Lottery winners who never had to ask, is this worth it, a single day in their lives. Startup founders who cash out early and mistake a payout for a permanent income. Study after study on these groups shows the same pattern over and over across completely different industries. A huge share of them are broke again within just a few short years of the money arriving. Not because they weren't smart, not because they didn't work hard, Because the money arrived faster than the wisdom needed to hold it. Economists have a name for this. They call it lifestyle inflation. Income rises and expenses rise right behind it, silent as a shadow, always exactly one step behind, until one day they're not behind anymore. They're ahead. Psychologists have a name for the other half of it. They call it hedonic adaptation. We adjust fast. The dream house becomes just the house. The car of a lifetime becomes just the car. The private jet becomes just the flight. The luxury fades. The bill never does. Put those two together and you get the exact trap from the story above. Spending that keeps climbing paired with a brain that keeps getting bored of whatever it just bought. It's a treadmill with no off switch, and the faster the money arrives, the faster the treadmill starts moving. Now flip the story. Picture someone else. No windfall, no overnight message, no banking notification that changes everything in a single second. Just 5, 10, 15 years of unglamorous, unfilmable effort. Learning the skill nobody claps for. Building the thing quietly in the background while everyone else is living life at full volume. Getting told no over and over. By clients, by banks, by people who just don't see it. And showing up again anyway, the next morning, like nothing happened. For years, their bank account barely moves. There's no montage, no dramatic notification, just spreadsheets, small decisions, and a level of boredom most people would never choose on purpose. They drive the same car for a decade longer than they need to, not because they can't afford a new one, later they very much can, but because by the time they can afford it, they've already stopped needing it to prove anything. When their money finally arrives, it doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives slowly enough for their habits to catch up to it, year by year, raise by raise, deal by deal. They already know how to live below what they earn, because they had to, for years, before there was ever anything extra to spend. They don't need the money to disappear to learn the lesson. They already learned it the hard way, the way that actually sticks. That's the real difference between the two kinds of rich. One is handed a fortune and has 1 year to discover they were never taught how to hold it. The other spends years building the fortune and gets taught every single day exactly how to keep it. Wealth was never about what you can buy right now. It's about what your future income can carry. That's why someone earning $5,000 a month with zero debt often sleeps better at night than someone earning 10 times that, sprinting just to keep a lifestyle from caving in underneath them. Money changes what's possible. Habits decide what survives. Here's a simple way to check which kind of rich you're actually building toward. Right now, today, regardless of how much is in your account. Do your expenses move the instant your income moves, or do they lag behind on purpose, by choice? Could you lose your biggest source of income tomorrow and still recognize your life a year from now? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is the most useful information you'll get all week. So here's the real question, the one we're sitting with after this video ends. If you had unlimited money for exactly 1 year, would you spend it trying to look rich? Or would you spend that year building the one thing that doesn't vanish when the fantasy runs out, the person who actually knows how to keep it? Because the smartest purchase was never the fastest car. It's the version of you that survives long after the money does.